I really recommend you when you travel, find something interesting.
The tallest Christmas tree in the world.
Outstanding conversation with one of the owner of this place.
All you have to do is just pull the gun, start shooting.
So we stayed overnight at the absolutely unique place, out of the 10 unique place in US bed and breakfast. So this is Caboose, like old caboose, and this place called Featherbed Railroad Bed and Breakfast. So we inside this caboose. It's about 8 or 10 cabooses on the territory. Absolutely nice and amazing.
Ты нас сделала фотку? Inside this cart, the train cart, the caboose, as they say, they did pretty good interior. I really like the idea how they decorated the whole place. They got rid of this high seating area from which is supposed to be on both sides, and they set up this mirror and the table with the plate chips, cards, bottles, and everything. It looks like with high bar chairs. It's really like you're sitting at the bar. You can play cards like in an old cowboy movie. I mean, all you have to do is just pull the gun, start shooting in the air, and stuff like that. Yeah, I enjoy this place. Very, very authentic decorations, I would say. Pretty cool. Especially that little thing next to the lamp, the water pouring jar.
As I saw on the internet, all cabooses are different. It's about 8, I believe, maybe more cabooses. They all decorated and named differently. Our called Wild West. So, and this is the bed. And what I really like about this part, it's a nice small table with a window, very nice. And look, I can wash my hair in the morning, my face in the morning. So nice and cozy. Nice chair, antique chair. Let me show you something. Are you ready? Ta-da! I think you know what is this. Good morning. We're at the Caboose bed and breakfast, I guess. It's like nice city in Northern California. There is a clear lake, huge clear lake. And this is the bed and breakfast area with the, I think, 8 cabooses. And we will tell you interesting story about these cabooses. Very, very interesting.
So from what we read, Caboose, the last cart of the train, supposedly named after Campus or Cambus on the ship. It was provided for a crew who dealt with the entire train, and they had a comfortable ride on the end of the train. So that's apparently the story. So since it was the last cart of the train, the crew of the train had a very comfortable ride here, and they could rest and change their shifts in this cart.
This is the Featherbed Railroad Bed and Breakfast, and we will have breakfast right in this amazing decorated, Christmas decorated house. So let's go to have some to eat.
Good morning.
Are you guys okay with omelets this morning?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
Oh, what's your name, Kitty? Yeah.
Just need what? Which is going to be a lot of reflection. Your hand over there.
They get you guys some free.
Yes, please. Advertising. Kids.
It's so cute in here. We started with the coffee and fruit. I'm so happy waiting for the waffles and omelet. No, for what? For pancakes. Cake. Yeah. I like to be here.
This place has been as one of the 10 unique places to stay, and this is really true unique place.
1 out of 10.
The first out of 10 picked in 15 years ago, and still stays the first place, unique place. One of the haunted places, which is pretty cool. I mean, during the daytime. Yesterday it was a little bit creepy after the sunset, but now it's just funny to see these haunted shadows and stuff, little pictures. I mean, little mannequins and stuff. But the wagons, the carts, the cabooses are for stay in. Very interesting. Very.
We just had amazing breakfast and absolutely amazing, outstanding conversation with one of the owner of this place.
We had a couple named Lynn and Lorraine. It's hard to say their last name. It's a long Italian name, but they were the original owners here, and he was in the trucking industry. She had a vision. She had the idea. It was completely her idea, apparently. Her husband was in the trucking industry, so he had the means to be able to do it. She had the vision for it. They had like 3 sons, I think. But according to the son, everything was her idea, her vision, everything. And they just did what she asked them to do. And this is what was created. He was able to get all the cars from Stockton. And back in the 80s, they decommissioned train cabooses all across the United States. And so these became for sale because train companies had so many that they didn't know what to do with them and they couldn't sell them. So they sold them for as little as $25, $50. It was crazy, and it was a national thing.
$25 each.
You know, they were just trying to get rid of them. And so people was able to buy them. And Lynn and Lorraine bought these, brought them here. Altogether, there's 11 of them. But here's the real story. And the reason that you asked about the favorite places for a haunted caboose is because this property, a long, long time ago, everybody that's been here since 1989, and that's when this opened. They finally opened it, 5 years of work. They finally opened in 1989. Since this place opened, people have said they've seen stuff here on the porch, seen stuff on the back of the cabooses, presents sit on the bed, but never anything negative. It's always been positive stuff. It's everywhere on the property. One of the cabooses, they brought 11 cabooses. 9 of them got put out here. 1 of them got put in the back, and that was for family members, to fix it up for family members that came and visited. And then there's one over there, and that's called the Haunted Caboose. When they set it up here back in the 80s, they had so many weird ghost type of vibes out of it that they were afraid to put it up. So nobody would put it together. When you walk into it, you get about 3/4 of the way back and everything just goes, your hairs go up, goosebumps get all over you. It's real. It's like everywhere. And then you step out of that area and it stops. And you step back into that area and it's like, oh my. And we took probably 150 people in there. Every one of them, but maybe 20 felt that. Only about 20 people says, I don't feel anything. But 130 said, oh man, you know. We have stuff on video that came out of our garage that shows orbs, like one this big, one about this big, one floating through the air on camera, infrared, going through the thing and going down into the floor. So there's been a lot of little incidences. There on the back of Midnight, which is the second caboose right there, for 30 minutes.
Which one?
The one on the right, the second one.
It's our caboose.
Yeah, is that yours?
Wild,
Midnight?
wild,
No, that's yours. The third one.
Okay.
The second one is Midnight in Paris.
Okay.
You're Wild Wild West right next to it. So the Midnight in Paris, there was not just me. There was a sitting here on the porch one night and seen a woman on the back of Midnight in Paris that looked like she was from the 17 or 1800s. And all the different long dress clothing and everything that they did back then, standing in front of a vanity mirror doing this. And it was like on a continuous loop. But you can't have a photo, you can't have a movie projector, nothing like that. For 30 minutes, watch that right there. And afterwards, everybody was like, oh my God, you know, like that was, we just watched that happen. So there's a quick little story that a lot of people don't know. Kit Carson is an American legend. He was an Indian scout who the American government hired to hunt Native Americans across the country and massacre them. Killed many, many, many thousands. His brother owned this property. He was here. He unfortunately did a lot of bad things in this area as well. The street right next to us is named Carson Street after the Carsons. Carson City, Nevada, named after the Carsons. So he lived here. He's responsible for thousands and thousands of Native deaths. And so it's believed that possibly the haunting comes from that, although it's never been negative. So we had a shaman woman come here, a Native American shaman woman, came here, asked to go over to the caboose, got 15 feet away from it, put her arms up and said, oh man, the spirit in here is strong. I was a little skeptical. I was new here. I'd only been here for a few months. I'm a little skeptical. I'm like, all right, whatever, right? And she goes, can I touch the caboose? So we said yes. She went over, put her hands on it and stayed there for a while and came back and said, the spirit in here wants to be forgiven. And I looked over at her and I said, oh, hell no. I said, come on, what do you know about this property? She said, nothing. I says, you don't know anything about this property. She says, nothing. I'm just here as a guest. She was only here as a guest. She was staying in the Easy Rider. So Kit Carson, what nobody knows is at the end of his life, he fell in love with a Native American woman and had 2 children and married. And he advocated on behalf of Native Americans from the rest of his life. The American government actually took him from massacring Indians, made him the Indian scout on behalf of advocating for Native Americans for the Western United States stationed out of New Mexico. So at the end of his life, he was asking forgiveness. This Native American woman came here and put her hands on that caboose and said, the spirit in here wants to be forgiven.
I'm just like of this goose thing.
So was I. I was standing there and I'm like, oh, you don't know anything about this property. She said, I don't know anything about this property. I'm like, man. So then like I said, we've seen stuff on camera. There's no question this place has some spirits. The good thing about it is none of them have been negative. From 1989 until present, we still see a lot of stuff here. We still feel a lot of stuff, guests do, but it's a very, very good experience all the way around.
I absolutely love the idea when someone gives new life for the old things, like these cabooses. So they don't trash this old cabooses, and they give them the new life. This is what I'm
reconstructed it
Yeah.
from inside.
Yeah.
Very clean, very nice looking inside carts, train carts. Pretty cool with the air conditioning and stuff, with the windows facing the lake. Oh, beautiful view.
Yeah. And I really want to visit at least a couple of other places that we saw on that list.
Yeah, in USA Today article, 15 years ago, there are other places marked as very unique, like spending a night in jail or in an old hospital. I mean, for comparison.
I'm not sure that I want to go to to spend the night in jail, but
Or a lighthouse.
lighthouse, yeah, lighthouse is good. Lighthouse is good. So I think it's a really good idea to, when you travel, visit some kind of this place, unique, different place, not just the basic hotel. So we left the Caboose and we're going to explore the lake area. It's a huge clear lake, very big, biggest in California. So first we have to go to the gas station. We're almost out of gas, and then we will see what's interesting. There's a lots of wine yards left and right. We are driving onto the countryside to the Clear Lake State Park. It's a winter time between Christmas and New Year. So I was expecting hot chocolate in this park at the office or gift shop, something to get hot chocolate, but it's closed. Okay, we will find hot chocolate today for sure.
If you're looking for the place, picnic, lodging, barbecue, just write it down for the summer. So this is Clear Lake State Park, and there are several cabins, amazing cabins, RV parks, and tables for barbecue. So write it down for summer.
I got this booklet brochure in the park, and it says that Clear Lake State, the predominant culture surrounding the lake was Pomo. The west side of what is now Kelsey Creek was inhabited by the Xibinapo Pomo. So this is information about history, about natural history, about recreation, and also here is like lots of cabins, RV parking. Now it's winter. At the summertime it's good for fishing, picnicking. There's like some boat launch, of course hiking, and this is the map of this lake. We found, just we're driving and found Kelsey, small city, as usual, small downtown, one street with shops. Hope we can find some hot chocolate.
Pretty weird gallery. Very strange exhibitions here, but it's very interesting.
Normally the propeller turns slowly, and this is on a cam in the Harms Road. And this is Captain Blunt.
I finally got my hot chocolate in that coffee shop. Let's try. Very nice. visibility. That wasn't the end of the story. We left this amazing break and breakfast place, and we were driving like 30-40 minutes from here, and then I realized I forgot, where is my purse? There is no purse. I start to looking everywhere in the car, there's no purse, and then I realized, okay, maybe we left it at this place where we stayed, bed and breakfast. Maybe ghost took it. So the story, maybe ghost took my purse, and just I was praying if it's a really good ghost, so it will be bring me back. So we were back, and I got my purse back. So yeah, now we're happy, and this place is really good. We just entered Willits city, small city. It's rain. We are going to the downtown, to the center of the city, and then going to the train, Skunk train with the Santa. We are going to Skunk train, Christmas Skunk train. So nice and cozy and very festive.
Good health and happiness and peace on earth. Up on the housetop, dear Bob, out from good old Santa Claus, down through the chimney, and down through the chimney with good Saint Nick. Yes, he did so well. Let that Christmas spirit. Christmas is just one day. No.
Hot chocolate.
Do you guys have coffee anywhere on board the train? On board the train, okay. We got the ticket for us enchanting to this Skunk train, Santa ride, to the giant Santa tree. So, and we're almost ready for departure. So nice and here is going to be some show. Very nice. Many people in this area.
Yeah, Christmas cookie. Christmas cookie for the dog, of course. You feel like Christmas cookie for the dog. Yeah.
She really is.
Christmas cookie is doing over here.
Thank you.
Oh, he's in now? Thank you very much. Right here, gentlemen, there is a cookie.
While standing out on the open car, please do not reach out and grab any of the
Thank you. A sticker? Want a sticker?
Nobody higher. Control right here to the left. You're going to hook right higher. You're going to hook right here for you. There you go. Oh, hook like this so we can stop it. There you go. And here's another one. Oh, man. Okay, let's just go one more. It's wet feet. Watch out, it's wet. Here we go. Force your paw. There you go. Here we go. There's a book right here for you, Mr. Skunk.
Thank you.
Thank you. For you, Mr. Skunk. One for you, Mr. Skunk, right there. Watch your hand. Oh, yeah. There you go. There you go. Okay. Come on, Mr. Skunk.
It is the tallest Christmas tree in the world.
Oh, what fun it is to ride along a silver sleigh. Hey! Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride along a silver sleigh. All of the other reindeer, they used to like to call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer game. And one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, giddy up, jingle up, pick up your feet, jingle around the clock, mix and mingle in a jingling beat. That's a jingle bell, that's a jingle bell, that's a jingle bell rock.
That was a fun train ride. Skunk train, there was a lot of entertainment inside. There was a snowball game, there was music playing, the cart attendant was giving us an entire concert in the car. That was a lot of fun. And the gigantic pine tree, not pine tree, redwood tree was like decorated as a Christmas tree, was unbelievable.